Okay, I think I'm recording. Yeah. All right, gents. Day 41. Practically in the books. Feeling good to go. So I'm just leaving right now my salsa class. And heading home. So you'll probably see that I'm gonna be going to salsa class. Oh, shoot. Sorry, hold on. Just hold on. You'll probably see that I'm gonna go to salsa class 2 times a week now, because I am taking level 1 again just to shore up my skills, and I'm also simultaneously going to be taking level 1.5. So Monday, Wednesdays is when I'm going to do salsa. So that means that probably for this month, at least the first 3 weeks of this month, I will be only going to the gym Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. That's good to me. But I'm active Monday through Saturday. You know what I mean? Really, Sunday is the only day where I won't be. And so that's good. And I really enjoy it. I feel like I'm getting better, progressively getting better. But I don't know, sometimes I feel like it's really hard to gauge that, because like when I go into class, bam, you know what I mean, I'm the best student, you know what I mean? But then, you know, I really don't have anyone to practice with, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to find someone to practice with, like someone that I can meet up with once a week and just like practice with them. So it is what it is. So day 41, Monday, December 2nd. It's a good day. It was actually above average Monday, to be honest. And I think a part of it has to do with that it's December, right? So you just feel good, right? You just feel good. And only had one meeting today. Picked up some money. Just had a few other things to do, but mostly it was decompressing, you know, getting things done, but also, you know, not like stressing myself out too much. Picked up some money, then also took an application to get paid, hopefully by the end of the month. And for those that don't know, I am a certified financial planner, and so I am a financial advisor at an independent firm here in Houston. So that's what I do. That's my Peter Parker. And so yeah, it was really chill. I also pulled the trigger on some flights for me and my mom to go to Mexico. In February, we're gonna be going to a wedding in Mexico City. February. I've never been to Mexico City. I've only been to Mexico in 2 places. You know, to visit my dad's family, my dad's side of the family. They basically live on the Mexican side of the border. And then to visit some of my mom's side of the family. They're not like super immediate, but we were already in California. So we went to go visit them in Tijuana. So that's kind of basically another border town. So really I haven't been to, you know, it's interesting because I speak Spanish pretty well. I speak Spanish pretty well. I can read, I can write. You know, 70% of my music is in Spanish. You know what I mean? Just all church Spanish, family Spanish, work growing up was just with Spanish speaking people. I live in Houston, and in the parts that I grew up in, again, just Spanish. But I've really never explored Mexico like I would like to. And I don't know. I've never been to my family's home state on my mom's side, which is Oaxaca, which is really probably the best state in all of Mexico. And then on my dad's side, I've never, really explored his home state of Tamaulipas. So I'm very blessed because I feel like I grew up with both sides, the best of Mexico, north and south. And well, Oaxaca, you could say, is like south central. You know what I mean? You could call it south. It's not really central. It's like south of central. I guess you could say it's where the south starts. And so you just have the best of both worlds. So I grew up with flour tortillas and corn tortillas, and I grew up with pinto beans and also black beans. I grew up with what you guys know as tamales, like the tamales that most people are used to are northern Mexican tamales, but I also grew up with southern Mexican tamales, which are very different. Really, I prefer southern. After my grandma passed away on my dad's side, I just really haven't found tamales that I really liked. And you know what? I'm not going to say that's due to nostalgia. I just genuinely feel like northern tamales are a lot easier to like snuff, in the terms of like they can be a lot like chicey with the meat. You know what I mean? And it's like very like a lot of just masa, a lot of just the bread part or the whatever part. You know what I mean? Versus southern, there are people like that don't put a lot of meat in there or whatever filling they want to use, but they're bigger, so it's like it almost makes up for that. But anyway, so we're gonna go in February. It'll be pretty exciting. I have some family that's from Mexico City on my mom's side, and they're always raving about it. They're always talking about it. And I want to go there, and I want to go with an open mind, because I'm almost annoyed in the sense that like, oh, Mexico City is amazing and Mexico City is that. And I'm like, I get it, but you know what I mean? Like, I just know that culturally, I'm not a big fan of Mexico City, even though I've never been there. I know a lot of people from Mexico City in person, and also just culturally, Mexico City is kind of like the Los Angeles of Mexico. You know what I mean? It's almost like if you combine LA with New York, you made it into one city, that would be Mexico City. You know what I mean? And you might be like, well, Sebastian, you've never been there, so how do you know? Because I know a lot of people from there. And if you engage in, Mexican media and culture, you get that frame of reference. You know what I mean? Just from, people that you see in movies, TV shows, interviews, reality TV. You know what I mean? It's just like, they're kind of insufferable. That's their whole thing. Like, it's a joke amongst Mexicans that they're like just insufferable people that think they're better than you. So, and they have weird food. You know what I mean? They eat like a lot of things that like, what are we doing here? There's a thing in Mexico City, everybody knows quesadillas, right? They have quesadillas that don't have cheese. When the whole crux of a quesadilla is that it has cheese. You know what I mean? They eat torta de tamal. So you know a tamal, right? You guys call it tamale, whatever it is, right? You get a tamale, you put it inside a loaf of bread, a Mexican style loaf of bread. You know what I mean? de tamal. It's like, what are we doing here, bro? It's like basically eating like a whole loaf of bread right there. You know what I mean? And so things like that. And it's very Mexico City is very class based. It's very, there's, if you thought that in the US there was, if you live in big cities, you know what I mean? You're like, okay, that side of town is poor people, this side of town is rich people, this side of town is middle class, this side of town, you know what I mean, is a mixture, this side of town, this, right? In Mexico City, especially, very, class-based. And unfortunately, a lot, because Mexico City is one of the biggest cities in the world, I think it's top 4 biggest city in the world. It unfortunately, and I say this with all respect, it has a lot of foreigners, and they've stayed there, and they've had families there, and they consider themselves Mexican. So you have these supposed Mexicans that basically look like they're European, and so they're top class. They're top class based on the color of their skin and their facial features. Oh my God, guys. This is what happens. People see cops and they start, trying to, you know what I mean? They get all scared. You know what I mean? It's like, so, and then you have the Europeans that have stayed there for generations, and, you know what I mean? They've managed to, stay kind of European looking, and then sometimes they'll deviate and commingle with the local population and making mixed children, mestizo children, who then have, these identity problems, because sometimes they'll come out looking like more of the European side, sometimes they'll look out coming more like the Mexican side. You know what I mean? So Mexico in general has a really bad class problem. I guess you can call it a racism problem. It's more colorism than anything. But I do think that that's really changing. There is a really good embrace, and I know you guys didn't come to see my vlog for this discussion about Mexico, but a part of this vlog is talking about my life, But it's good to see that really, as time has passed, people are embracing their skin color, they're embracing their indigenous features, their mestizo features. You know what I mean? So really, I think that's good. You've seen me, I am on the darker side. I am, you know what I mean? Like, I am on the darker side of Mexicans. Mexicans, for the most part, go from like very light brown to dark brown, even darker than me. I'm probably like in that third quartile of darkness, closer to fourth, especially in the summer. But for instance, my uncle, he's probably the only person that's darker than me in my family. Yeah, and maybe one of my cousins. He's super dark. Darker than me. You know what I mean? By probably a good 20%. You know what I mean? And that's not super unusual to find in Mexico. You know what I mean? So it's kind of an odd thing. Tenoch Huerta, a famous Mexican actor, he played Namor in Wakanda Black Panther 2. You know what I mean? He actually, let's stand this way. He said it. It's so funny how probably 70 to 80% of the Mexican population, you know what I mean, which is about 130 million people. You know what I mean? So over 80 million people out of 130 million are what we would call moreno, which means that they're brown skinned. You know what I mean? But if you look at politicians like in major cities, if you look at media, Mexican media, a lot of times the people who have the jobs are lighter Mexicans if they get that job, or they'll outsource it. You know what I mean? They'll hire Spanish actors or Argentinian actors or European actors that learn Spanish. You know what I mean? And it's funny because like sometimes like the villains are usually the darker Mexicans. The help is usually darker Mexicans. You know what I mean? The protagonist, the female protagonist, is rarely a darker skinned Mexican. So I think that's why I have such a big problem with the whole racial topics of America, because it's like it's nothing like Latin America. It's not. You know what I mean? It's so much in terms of racial, whatever, right? It's so much better here. You know what I mean? But there's like these constant, fighting about it. But anyways, that's it for that. So that's what I'm going to be doing in February. So I bought the tickets today for me and my mom to go. Just went for the weekend because I can't really miss work. Which, if you're a financial advisor, you can work from anywhere. You can. But this is my firm. I like to keep people close. But day 41 was pretty solid. Like I said, so far I've had 3 shakes. I'm not gonna hit 5 out of 5. I'm gonna go. I'm still debating, but I'll probably only do 4 to 5. And I'm excited for weigh-in tomorrow, day 42. I don't want to jinx it, man, but I feel like I should lose at least a pound, 2 pounds more than I lost last week. I can't see why I won't. The activity rate so much higher, calorie intake so much lower consistently. So we'll see, guys. I will say, I don't know how to describe it, but it's not that I want to eat, but I think I was on cruise control for a good while. I started off very strong, cruise control. There was about a week there where I was struggling mentally. You know what I mean? But, we're hitting, this is the 6th week. Probably week 2 was the hardest week. But from week 2 and on, it's been cruise control. But man, today I was like, what if I got a Jet's Pizza, man? But nah, I'm good. It's just a thought. It's not an actual like yearning. It's not an actual desire. It's just a thought. Like I said in a previous video, a while back, a couple of days back probably, I'm gonna see this year out. That's what I'm committed to. That this year, I'm gonna end the year without having consumed any physical, like real food, apart from protein shakes. That's what I'm committing to. And I think I even said that I'm committing to 3 months. So that's January 20th. So I think January 20th, I'm really committing to that. You know what I mean? To just absolutely staying under 800 calories. And honestly, I've never hit a day with 800 calories. Just because the math in my shakes doesn't add up that. It always goes up to 780. But like I've said, past 2 weeks, most days I would say 450, 480 the most. You know what I mean? And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I recovered a lot quicker from my Friday, Saturday gym days. Because you got to push past that soreness. I made a video about that a couple days ago. So So I feel good, guys. Committing to that 3-month mark. Because of my Mexico City trip, I do think most likely I will enter phase 2 in February. And phase 2 is 1,100 calories, I believe, 11 or 1,200 calories. But it's not like I'm gonna hit that. It's more like I'll do like maybe 2 to 3 shakes a day, which will come out to be between 300 to 450 calories. Look at this guy, what's he doing? And then, because I want to try, Mexico City food. But this is the biggest key, I think, for me. It's not like I'm gonna be eating. It's gonna be me just tasting. You know what I mean? Like a bite. Okay, let's just say that, like, my family, the people I'm with, each get something different. I'll take a bite of each. I just want to try it. You know what I mean? So I might get, 400 or 500 calories from just trying things. But I will not exceed that 1,100. I'm not sure if it's 11 or if it's 1,200 calories per day in phase 2. I just won't. You know what I mean? And I'm projecting by the time that I go to Mexico, I should be to about 280. You know what I mean? So that'll be a good weight. In terms of, I haven't been that weight probably since, I had to check my records, but I don't think I've been that weight since probably 8th grade. Must be 8th or 9th grade. Probably 8th. You know what I mean? So it's been a good minute. You know what I mean? And back then I wasn't 6 feet tall. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what 280 at 6 feet tall looks like. Especially since I think, in general, I carry my weight well. I think even though I do think I lose weight really fast in my legs, I do think I'm very proportionate. Like, my weight is pretty proportionate. It's very this guy is very evenly distributed. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm one of those people who has this, like, grew the skinniest legs ever and, like, just a huge waist. But I'm also not one of those people that has, like, this, like, I look like I have a female lower body. You know what I mean? And even, I've always been self-conscious about my man boobs. But honestly, they're not that bad. They're not the kind of man boobs that were like, they look like they could be genuinely, like, female breasts. Like, where they're like really rounded. Mine have been more like, kind of like a shortened anteater's nose. Like a triangle kind of thing. And they, you know what I mean? They don't, like, go out. They just go down a little bit. And honestly, I think genetically I'm gonna have a sick chest once I get down enough weight. Probably the only area of my body that I'm really, like, this bothers me is my back. Because I feel like I've worked on my posture for the past few years, but I just have a wide and thick back. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think realistically, when I go to Mexico, I am gonna eat actual food. But it's not really gonna be eating, like I said. I'm really gonna hold myself to that 1,100 or 1,200 calorie limit. And you might say, well, Sebastian, you say that now, but in the moment, right? And that's true. That's true. But I just feel like how I've gone through 41 days of this, and I haven't slipped up. And I don't know if I've talked about this. Probably be my longest video that I've done in a while. I don't know if I've talked about this, but I have not slipped up. There have been moments where I've been around food, where I've been handling food for others, and I don't lick my fingers. You know what I mean? I don't give it a taste. You know what I mean? I don't take a nibble. I don't take like a little bite. I haven't licked anything. Literally, it's only been protein shakes, water, the 0-calorie ices, the 0-calorie, 0-sugar sodas, and gum, sugar-free gum. There's been nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. There has not been one single drop of chewable food. Like food. Like this, you classify as this is food that has entered my mouth into my stomach in 41 days. And there's never been a moment when I went down to the kitchen or to the break room to grab a shake and I was tempted to eat. Not one. So when I say that I'm gonna hold myself to that phase 2 calorie limit, I believe it. I believe it. So, but we're gonna see, right? We're gonna see. Still have a long way to go. You know, we have almost exactly 2 months until that trip. You know what I mean? So a lot can happen in 2 months. But I'm excited. I am excited. So guys, this is probably one of my longest videos. It's been probably a couple of weeks since I've had a video longer than 20 minutes. But yeah, feeling good. Excited for tomorrow's weigh-in. So, day 41 complete. Échale ganas, guys. Alright, hold on.